Introduction. Embrace vulnerability. The power of courage and connection. In a world that often celebrates perfection and champions self-reliance, the idea of embracing vulnerability might seem counterintuitive. Yet, it is in the acknowledgement and acceptance of our own vulnerability that we uncover our deepest strengths and forge genuine connections with others. This book, Embrace Vulnerability, The Power of Courage and Connection, invites you on a transformative journey to unlock the power of vulnerability and discover how courage and connection can lead to a more fulfilling and authentic life. In these pages, you'll learn that vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, but a profound expression of courage. It takes immense bravery to step into the unknown, to let down our guard, and to engage fully with life without the masks we often wear. When we embrace vulnerability, we open ourselves to the richness of life's experiences, allowing love, joy, and creativity to flow more freely. This book is organized into 12 carefully crafted chapters, each designed to guide you through the journey of recognizing, understanding, and embracing vulnerability in various aspects of your life. Through relatable stories, practical examples, and insightful exercises, you'll explore how vulnerability can lead to deeper self-awareness, greater resilience, and more authentic relationships. By the end of this book, you will 1. Understand vulnerability. Gain a deeper understanding of what vulnerability truly means and how it manifests in everyday life. 2. Harness courage. Learn practical strategies to overcome the fear of vulnerability, empowering you to step out of your comfort zone and face challenges with newfound courage. 3. Build authentic connections. Discover how embracing vulnerability can enhance your relationships, fostering trust, empathy, and genuine connection with others. 4. Enhance emotional resilience. Cultivate the resilience needed to embrace adversity and setbacks as opportunities for growth and self-discovery. 5. Embrace imperfection. Learn to let go of perfectionism and embrace your authentic self, finding strength in your flaws and imperfections. 6. Cultivate joy and creativity. Uncover how vulnerability fuels creativity and brings joy by allowing you to live more openly and with greater spontaneity. This book is a call to courage, to step into the fullness of your humanity without fear or shame. It is a testament to the transformative power of vulnerability as a bridge to deeper connections and a more meaningful existence. As you turn the pages, let each chapter be a guide and companion on your journey towards living with greater courage and connection. Welcome to Embrace Vulnerability, the power of courage and connection, where your most authentic life awaits. Chapter 1. Understanding Vulnerability. Vulnerability is a word that many people shy away from. It's often linked with feelings of weakness or exposure. However, what if I told you that vulnerability is not about being weak, but rather about allowing yourself to be open and real? It's about having the courage to show up and be seen, even when there are no guarantees. Redefining vulnerability. To truly understand vulnerability, we must start by redefining it. Vulnerability is simply about being authentic, showing your true self with all your strengths and imperfections. It's standing in front of others just as you are, without pretending to be someone you're not. For example, imagine a young musician who has written a song close to their heart. Sharing it with the world, they feel exposed, fearing judgment or criticism. Yet embracing this vulnerability allows them to connect deeply with their audience, sparking emotions and creating a unique bond. Common myths about vulnerability. Let's dispel a few common myths. First, many believe that being vulnerable means being weak. In reality, vulnerability takes immense strength. It requires the bravery to enter the unknown, despite the fear of what lies ahead. Another myth is that vulnerability means oversharing or being emotional all the time. It's important to distinguish between mindlessly exposing oneself and sharing with purpose and intention. Vulnerability is not about dumping every feeling on others. It's about being genuine in situations that matter. Vulnerability as a path to strength. By embracing vulnerability, we open ourselves to connections and experiences that can lead to personal growth. When we're vulnerable, we allow ourselves to learn and adapt. We're forced to confront fears, developing resilience and emotional fortitude. Consider a teacher who admits they don't have all the answers in front of their class. This honesty might initially seem like a risk, but it fosters an environment where students feel safe to express their own uncertainties and ideas, leading to richer, more inclusive learning experiences. The courage to be vulnerable. Being vulnerable is not a one-time act, but a practice that involves making intentional choices every day. It means having those difficult conversations, trying new things, and letting go of the masks we wear to protect ourselves. Imagine someone starting a new business. The journey requires risking failure, confronting doubts, and seeking help, all acts of vulnerability. Yet, it's their courage to remain open about challenges and embrace them that allows them to find success and fulfillment. Embracing vulnerability as empowerment. When we allow vulnerability into our lives, we are not just stepping into uncertainty. We are stepping into our true selves. We discover that our real strength lies in being honest and authentic, qualities that, ironically, many of us are taught to hide. By understanding vulnerability not as a weakness, but as courage, we unlock a powerful tool for personal development. It bridges gaps, builds empathy, and fosters trust. As we move through this journey together, remember, vulnerability is not the enemy. It's the guide to becoming more resilient, compassionate, and ultimately more human. In the chapters that follow, we'll explore how vulnerability impacts communication, leadership, and even the culture around us. Join me as we navigate this path filled with challenges and triumphs, where the ability to embrace vulnerability transforms everything we touch. Chapter 2: The Shielding Effect. Have you ever watched someone put on a brave face, even though you could tell they were feeling hurt? If so, you've seen the shielding effect in action. This shield is something we all use at times. It's like wearing armor to protect ourselves from getting hurt emotionally. But while it seems like a good idea, this armor can also keep out the very things we need: authenticity, love, and real connections. Why we put up shields. Everyone has their reasons for putting up these shields. Maybe it stems from past experiences, where being open led to pain or rejection. For others, it's about maintaining an image of strength and perfection. These shields can take many forms: sarcasm to deflect emotional honesty, perfectionism that cripples creativity, or even just staying silent when we really want to speak up. The common thread is fear: fear of not being good enough, fear of being judged, or fear of getting hurt. The hidden costs of shields. At first glance, these shields seem to be protecting us, but over time, they can start to cost us dearly. Imagine wanting to make genuine friendships but never allowing others to see the real you. It's like trying to grow a garden without planting seeds. True connections can't thrive under layers of armor. When we shield ourselves, we limit our personal growth. We miss out on learning from mistakes or discovering new possibilities because we're too busy trying to stay safe. Consider a friend of mine who used humor as a shield. It kept conversations light and fun, but it also held others at arm's length. When life got tough, they realized that their arsenal of jokes wasn't enough to tackle real issues or form deep connections. The armor, which seemed like protection, was actually a barrier. Dismantling the shield. The good news is, we can choose to gently dismantle these shields. It begins with awareness. Reflect on moments when you put up your defenses. What triggers these reactions? Understanding the roots of our shields is a powerful step towards taking them down. Next, experiment with small acts of openness. Let your defenses down in safe spaces with trusted friends or family. Share a piece of your story that you usually keep hidden. Or try to be comfortable with expressing genuine emotions rather than hiding them behind a facade. Finally, remember that being vulnerable doesn't mean abandoning all caution. It's about finding a balance where you feel comfortable to be yourself without compromising who you are. It's okay to be cautious, but let that caution be a prudent guide rather than a thick wall. Moving forward, the shielding effect is a double-edged sword, protecting us while also holding us back. Real growth happens when we dare to step outside our fortified walls. It's not about dismantling your defenses overnight, but about taking small steps towards authenticity, even when it's uncomfortable. As you journey through this process, be kind to yourself. Change is challenging, yet incredibly rewarding. By becoming more aware of the shielding effect, you empower yourself to build more more genuine, and more fulfilling connections. This chapter isn't about discarding your armor entirely. It's about learning when to wear it and when to lay it down so you can thrive in the richness of life's real experiences. In our next chapter, we'll explore the beauty found in embracing our imperfections and why it's such a crucial step towards truly connecting with ourselves and others. Chapter 3: Embracing Imperfection. Imagine standing in front of a beautiful painting. At first glance, everything seems perfect: the colors, the strokes, and the composition. But as you step closer, you notice tiny imperfections, a stray brush mark, or a color slightly out of place. Do these flaws ruin the painting? Not at all. In fact, they add to its charm, making it unique and unforgettable. Just like a painting, our imperfections shape who we are. In today's world, there's immense pressure to be perfect. Social media amplifies the successes and perfections in life, often hiding the challenges and flaws behind the scenes. However, pursuing perfection is like chasing a mirage. It's exhausting and ultimately unattainable. The beauty lies not in perfection, but in the journey, the mishaps, and the lessons learned along the way. Embracing imperfection liberates us from the chains of unrealistic standards. When we stop striving for an unattainable ideal, we become free. Free to make mistakes, free to learn, and free to grow. And in this freedom, we often find our true selves. Consider Emma, a talented baker who loved making cakes for her friends and family. Her cakes were always delicious, but rarely picture perfect. One day, she attempted a new recipe for a big family celebration. As she placed the cake on the table, she noticed it was slightly lopsided, unlike any of the pristine cakes she'd seen online. Initially disheartened, she quickly realized that everyone loved the cake for its rich flavor and the love she put into making it. Nobody cared it wasn't perfect. Her imperfect cake brought smiles and laughter that day, teaching Emma the value of embracing her unique style. Imperfections are not setbacks. They're opportunities for growth and creativity. They encourage us to find new paths, invent new methods, and develop resilience. Each flaw tells a story of persistence, humor, and humility. By accepting them, we allow ourselves to be human. Being a perfectionist often leads to stress and anxiety, preventing us from enjoying life's simple pleasures. Imagine a musician refusing to play their favorite song in public out of fear of hitting the wrong note. Those moments of hesitation become missed opportunities for joy, both for the musician and their audience. However, by embracing their imperfections, they not only share their passion with others, but also inspire them to pursue their own dreams, flaws and all. Society places high value on polished appearances and seamless success, often making us forget the humble beginnings and setbacks that pave the road to achievement. True confidence doesn't stem from hiding our imperfections, but from celebrating them. It's about standing tall and saying, "I'm genuine, and that's enough." To truly embrace imperfection, start by reflecting on your life. List a few imperfections you possess. Now, think about how these attributes have shaped your experiences. Perhaps they're the reason you have a great story to tell, the reason you found a creative solution, or the reason you met someone wonderful. Celebrate these qualities, for they make you distinct and remarkable. Self-compassion is critical on this journey. Treat yourself with the kindness you would offer a friend. When you stumble, remind yourself that it's okay. You're learning, growing, and becoming more comfortable with your authentic self each day. As you journey toward embracing imperfection, remember that life isn't a carefully choreographed performance. It's a series of improvisations, each with its own unique rhythm and harmony. By accepting the beauty of imperfection, you open the door to liberation, happiness, and the realization that the most captivating art is woven with threads of individuality and authenticity. Chapter 4: Building True Connections. In our world, where everything seems to be just a click away, why do so many of us still feel disconnected? The answer often lies in how we form our connections. Are they real or just surface-level interactions? Building true connections requires us to step beyond the facade of quick texts and social media likes, diving into the deeper, more rewarding realm of genuine human interaction. Empathy. The heart of connection, empathy, is the cornerstone of true connections. It involves placing ourselves in someone else's shoes and genuinely understanding their feelings and perspectives. Imagine your friend just lost their job. Instead of simply saying, "I'm sorry," empathy urges us to ask open-ended questions and really listen to their fears and hopes. It's about being there, not just physically, but emotionally, offering comfort by truly understanding their situation. When we become more empathetic, we dismantle the barriers that often keep us apart. We move from what separates us to what binds us, fostering connections that are rooted in authenticity. Active listening. More than just hearing. Have you ever been in a conversation where it felt like the other person was just waiting for their turn to speak? Conversely, have you felt the warmth of truly being heard? Active listening is the foundation of meaningful engagement. It's when we pay full attention to the speaker, acknowledging their words not just in our minds, but with our hearts. To practice active listening, try this simple exercise. The next time someone speaks to you, pause before responding. This pause is a signal to you and the speaker that you are processing their words with sincerity. Repeat or paraphrase what you've heard, ensuring mutual understanding. This small effort can make the other person feel valued and understood, strengthening the bond between you. Mutual respect, valuing each other's worth. True connections thrive on mutual respect. Respect is about acknowledging the intrinsic value in the other person. It doesn't mean you have to agree with everything they say or do, but rather you appreciate them for who they are. Consider a workplace scenario where two colleagues have differing opinions on a project. Respect is when both listen to each other's viewpoints, considering them without dismissiveness. It allows for diverse ideas and fosters a cooperative environment, leading to better solutions. The role of vulnerability. At the heart of building true connections lies vulnerability. It takes courage to open up, to say, "This is me," especially when we're unsure how others might react. But vulnerability brings authenticity to our interactions, inviting others to let down their guard. When you share your true self, your dreams, fears, and aspirations, you give permission to others to do the same. It's an invitation to connect on a real, profound level. This sincerity breeds trust, the bedrock of any strong relationship. Crafting your network of true connections. Begin by reflecting on your current relationships. Are you actively listening? Do you approach people with empathy and respect? Identify areas where you can improve. Genuine connections are not about quantity, but quality. One true friend who understands the real you is worth more than 10 acquaintances who don't. Reach out to someone this week with whom you want to deepen your connection. Share something personal, listen actively, and see how little changes can transform your interactions. Remember, building true connections takes time and effort, but the rewards of warmth, support, and companionship are truly worthwhile. In this journey of building true connections, every small step counts. Let empathy, active listening, and mutual respect be your guiding lights. Embrace vulnerability and watch how it beautifully reshapes your world, one authentic relationship at a time. Chapter 5: Courageous Communication. In the world of relationships, communication is the bridge that connects us to one another. However, not all communication is created equal. Courageous communication requires honesty and openness, allowing us to express our true selves while inviting understanding and empathy from others. Understanding courageous communication. Courageous communication starts with self-awareness. Before expressing your thoughts and feelings to others, take a moment to understand them yourself. Be honest about what you feel and recognize that it's okay to be vulnerable. When you acknowledge your own feelings, it's easier to communicate them effectively. Listening with intent. One of the cornerstones of courageous communication is listening, not just hearing, but truly understanding the other person's words. Listening with intent means engaging with openness, asking questions, and showing that you value what the other person is saying. For instance, if a friend shares a difficult experience, resist the urge to immediately offer solutions. Instead, ask questions to better understand their perspective and feelings. Expressing vulnerability in dialogue. Vulnerability is key to deep communication. It's okay to admit when you don't have all the answers or when you're feeling uncertain. For example, if you're uncertain about a decision at work, expressing this openly with a colleague can lead to collaborative problem solving. Saying, "I'm not sure about this, what do you think?" shows that you value their input and are open to other perspectives. Using I statements. When discussing sensitive topics, using I statements can prevent misunderstandings and reduce defensiveness. Saying, "I feel upset when plans change suddenly" is more effective than "You always change plans." It expresses your feelings without blaming the other person, opening a space for dialogue rather than conflict. Setting healthy boundaries. Courageous communication also involves setting boundaries. It's essential to express what you need clearly and respectfully. For example, if a friend constantly interrupts you, you might say, "I value our conversations, but when I'm interrupted, I feel unheard. Can we find a way to ensure we both have time to speak?" Empathy in interaction. Empathy fuels courageous communication. It's about stepping into another person's shoes and understanding their perspective. When your partner expresses frustration, respond with empathy. "I can see how that situation could be frustrating. How can I support you?" This approach validates their feelings and encourages more open communication. The power of pausing. Pausing in conversations, particularly difficult ones, can prevent misunderstandings and allow emotions to settle. Taking a moment to collect your thoughts enables you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. When you feel overwhelmed, say, "Can we pause for a second? I need time to think this through." Openness to feedback. Being open to feedback is a courageous step in communication. When someone provides feedback, view it as an opportunity for growth rather than criticism. Ask clarifying questions if needed and express gratitude for their honesty. Remember that constructive feedback can strengthen your relationships by fostering deeper understanding. Practice makes perfect. Courageous communication is a skill that grows with practice. Start small, perhaps by sharing a personal story with a friend or giving honest feedback to a colleague. The more you practice, the more confident you'll become in communicating openly. Conclusion: a path to true connection. Courageous communication paves the way for genuine connections. By expressing vulnerability and embracing honesty, we foster deeper understanding and empathy in our relationships. As you practice these strategies, remember, every conversation is an opportunity to listen, learn, and grow. Your journey toward courageous communication is a journey toward richer, more fulfilling relationships. Chapter 6: The Courage to Be Yourself. In our bustling world, where opinions are thrown around like autumn leaves, it's easy to lose sight of who we truly are. However, living authentically, being true to yourself, holds the key to a fulfilling life. It's not always easy. It takes courage to stand tall in the face of judgments and expectations. But once we embrace who we are, we unlock a sense of peace and happiness we might never have thought possible. To be authentic means to align your outer self with your inner values and beliefs. It's about wearing your own favorite colors rather than the shades others think you should wear. It's speaking your thoughts, knowing some might not agree. But being authentic isn't about being rebellious or different for the sake of it. It's about comfort within your own skin, without worrying about the kind of feedback you'll get. While growing up, many of us are told how to behave, what to learn, or even how to dream. These instructions are sometimes well-intended, meant to guide us toward success. Yet we must remember whose life it is to lead. Consider the story of a young artist named Leo. From a small age, Leo loved to draw. His parents, worried about his future job prospects, often nudged him toward careers they deemed more secure, like engineering or medicine. But Leo trusted his instincts. Despite the doubts and raised eyebrows, he pursued his love of art. Today, he shares his unique vision with communities through vibrant murals and inspiring art workshops. Leo's success isn't just measured by his accomplishments, but by the joy and satisfaction he finds in his daily work. His story reminds us that there's room for everyone to succeed in their unique way. When you're true to yourself, not only do you thrive personally, but you touch others' hearts, offering them a window into what living authentically can look like. Many people fear judgment like it's a rainstorm about to ruin a sunny day. In reality, opinions are just varying filters others wear based on their own experiences. Once we understand that judgments are seldom about us personally, they become less daunting. It's important to remember that we only truly connect with others when we are ourselves. Pretending can cause us to feel isolated, building invisible walls we might not even notice until they become too high to break down. The courage to be yourself is nurtured by self-acceptance. Celebrating your uniqueness can begin with small steps. Start by noting what makes you feel truly alive, whether it's painting, hiking, writing, or anything else. Foster these activities. Share your passions with friends. You might find they ignite sparks of joy and curiosity in others too. Lastly, think of authenticity like a dance. Sometimes you might stumble, distracted by what others might be whispering. But as you practice, you'll find the rhythm and strength to carry on with grace. In moments of doubt, remember that the beauty of humanity lies in its diversity. Your thoughts, dreams, and quirks contribute a verse to the epic poem of life. Without you, it would be incomplete. As this chapter closes, be reminded that embracing who you are begins with one simple but profound act: acknowledging yourself. Seek your truth with kindness and patience. Walk your path boldly, not because it is perfect, but because it is yours. In choosing to live authentically, without the shadows of judgment overcasting your light, you inspire not only yourself, but the world around you. Chapter 7: Resilience in Vulnerability. Vulnerability often gets a bad rap. Many believe showing vulnerability is equivalent to showing weakness. However, the opposite is true. Embracing vulnerability is a powerful way to build resilience and fortitude, helping us cope with life's challenges. Let's explore how opening up can actually make you stronger. Imagine a young man named Alex, an aspiring musician. Alex always believed he had to put on a brave face, projecting confidence and never admitting defeat. However, each time he faced rejection or criticism, it would weigh heavily on him. It seemed like there was no room for mistakes, and every negative comment felt like a personal failure. Over time, this burden grew, making it harder for Alex to stay motivated. One day, tired of holding it all in, Alex chose to open up to his mentor, sharing his doubts and fears about his music and career. Instead of finding judgment, he discovered support and encouragement. His mentor shared stories of similar struggles and the lessons learned from them. Through this connection, Alex saw vulnerability as a tool for growth, not a stumbling block. By allowing himself to be open, Alex began to understand resilience. He could bounce back from criticism because he no longer saw it as a total reflection of his worth. Instead, he viewed it as a part of his learning journey. Every note he missed, every chord that fell flat, became a stepping stone rather than a roadblock. Emma, an elementary school teacher, had a similar revelation. She always maintained a strict by-the-book approach, thinking it would help manage her classroom efficiently. But one day, overwhelmed, Emma shared with her students how difficult it was to balance everything. What she received in return surprised her. Her students, recognizing her honesty, offered support and even ideas to make the classroom a better place. This mutual understanding and empathy created a stronger bond in her classroom, making it a space where students felt safe to express themselves. Emma learned that showing vulnerability was not only strengthening her, but it was also creating a ripple effect, fostering resilience in those around her. Both Alex and Emma illustrate how vulnerability isn't about displaying weakness, but about being authentic. This authenticity allows us to connect with others on a deeper level, building a safety net of understanding and encouragement, a net that bolsters resilience. When life throws challenges our way, our first instinct might be to build walls, keeping our struggles hidden. But if we dare to break down those walls and share our true selves, we invite strength in, both from within and from the community of people we connect with. Building resilience through vulnerability is about being real with our emotions, acknowledging anxiety, admitting mistakes, and sharing them with trustful individuals. It's about understanding that imperfection is not the enemy. It is the part of the human experience that brings us together. We may stumble and falter, but opening up lets us tap into a well of support and shared experiences. Through this, we empower ourselves to withstand and overcome life's setbacks, emerging stronger and wiser. In vulnerability, we find not only the courage to confront our challenges, but also the strength to rise above them. This journey toward resilience is ongoing and demands courage. But remember, every step taken with authenticity is a step toward greater strength. Embrace it and allow vulnerability to fortify your spirit, knowing that each open heart becomes a little bit more invincible. Chapter 8: Overcoming the Fear of Failure. Fear of failure is like a shadow that looms large over our aspirations and dreams. We often avoid pursuing our true desires because we are afraid to stumble, afraid to make mistakes, and scared of what others might think. Yet true growth and innovation occur when we embrace the possibility of failure with open arms, cloaked in vulnerability. At the heart of overcoming this fear lies the understanding that failure is not the opposite of success, but a pivotal part of the journey towards it. Every great invention, every successful person has faced failure at some point. They learned from it, adapted, and moved forward with reinforced determination. By accepting that failure is a natural stepping stone to success, we open ourselves to new opportunities. Imagine a little child learning to ride a bicycle. At first, they wobble, fall, and scrape their knees. It's an inevitable part of the process. If the child decides to stop trying after the first fall, they miss the magic of racing down a hill with the wind in their hair. Similarly, in our personal and professional lives, if we stop at the first sign of failure, we rob ourselves of growth and accomplishment. Allowing ourselves to be vulnerable enough to fail means giving ourselves permission to try new things, to innovate, rather than sticking to what is safe and comfortable. This vulnerability is akin to being a scientist trying a variety of experiments, not afraid to record outcomes and start over. For instance, consider starting a small business. The market is unpredictable, and initial sales might be low. Instead of fearing failure, view each day as a learning opportunity. What worked? What didn't? Adapt, refine, and try again. This process builds resilience, cultivates creativity, and might eventually lead you to uncover an unexpected gap in the market that sets you apart. Moreover, embracing failure breaks down the illusion of perfection. It allows us to acknowledge that it's okay to fall before we soar. It encourages an environment where mistakes are seen as a chance to improve, not as indictment of our worth. Over time, this mindset fosters an enduring sense of self-worth and confidence, reinforcing the belief that you are not defined by your setbacks. To truly overcome the fear of failure, we must cultivate self-compassion. Being kind and understanding towards ourselves in times of adversity enables us to move through failure without paralyzing fear. Share your experiences with trusted friends or mentors and seek their guidance. Often, hearing how others navigated failure can be empowering and insightful. Recognize that each failure is an opportunity. It's a chance to redirect your path, refine your approach, and deepen your understanding. By viewing setbacks in this way, we open ourselves to breakthroughs that might have remained undiscovered had we chosen not to act out of fear. In conclusion, vulnerability in the face of potential failure is not a weakness. It's a testament to courage. It's about knowing that every experience, whether labeled as failure or success, contributes to our growth. By embracing vulnerability, we transform fear into a powerful ally, guiding us towards possibilities we never imagined. As we learn to dance with fear rather than fight it, we become more resilient, innovative, and authentically ourselves. Remember, the fear of failure is just a ripple in the vast ocean of potential that lies within us. When you dare to dip your toes in that water, you open your heart to discover a world of opportunities beyond your wildest dreams. Embrace it, learn from it, and let the journey continue. Chapter 9: Vulnerability and Leadership. In the world of leadership, vulnerability might sound like a weakness. However, it's actually one of the greatest strengths a leader can have. Vulnerability means being open, honest, and real. It means showing up as yourself, even when it feels risky. This chapter explores how embracing vulnerability can transform leaders and their teams. Embracing transparency. Imagine a captain steering a ship through a storm. If the captain pretends to know everything and keeps the crew in the dark, fear and confusion can take hold. But if the captain admits there's a storm but shows determination and an open heart to work through it, the crew feels supported and united. Similarly, leaders who are transparent and authentic earn the trust of their teams. By sharing challenges and uncertainties, they foster an environment where others feel safe to do the same. Inspiring trust. When leaders are vulnerable, they don't just talk about values like trust, they live them. A leader who admits mistakes and celebrates learning experiences sets a powerful example. This honesty inspires others to be genuine and trustworthy. Team members know they can rely on their leader because they've seen that leader stand by them through good times and bad. Fostering teamwork. Vulnerable leaders encourage deeper connections among team members. When a leader shows it's okay to be human, people are more likely to collaborate openly and creatively without fear of judgment. Think of a group project where everyone's opinions are valued and diverse ideas are encouraged. This inclusive and empathetic approach builds strong bonds and boosts teamwork, leading to more innovation and problem solving. Creating robust cultures. Cultivating a culture of vulnerability starts from the top. When leaders lead with their hearts, they create a space where everyone can contribute their full selves. In such environments, people are motivated to share ideas, take risks, and support each other. A robust culture isn't just about hitting targets. It's about creating a sense of belonging and purpose. The courage to be open. Being vulnerable takes courage because it means putting aside the fear of what others might think. Great leaders dare to show real emotions, whether it's excitement, concern, or humility. They model a profound truth. It's okay to be imperfect, and everyone has room to grow. Building empathy. Vulnerable leadership is deeply intertwined with empathy. When leaders understand and share the feelings of others, they create bridges of understanding. Empathetic leaders listen actively, respond thoughtfully, and make decisions that reflect the needs of the team. This approach fosters a supportive and resilient organization where everyone feels valued, leading by example. Lastly, leaders should remember that their actions speak louder than words. By leading with vulnerability, they show that it's possible to strive for excellence without losing sight of humanity. They inspire their teams to embrace challenges, celebrate victories, and learn from failures together. In conclusion, vulnerability is not a sign of weakness for leaders. It's a cornerstone of strength and authenticity. By embracing it, leaders inspire trust, build cohesive teams, and foster dynamic organizational cultures. A vulnerable leader is not only successful, but also leaves a lasting positive impact on everyone they lead. Chapter 10. Cultivating a Culture of Vulnerability. Imagine a world where people openly share their thoughts and feelings without fear of judgment or rejection. It's a world where honesty is appreciated and everyone's voice matters. This is what a culture of vulnerability looks like. When we cultivate such a culture, whether in our communities, workplaces, or social circles, we create an environment where people can truly connect and grow, creating a safe space. To foster a culture of vulnerability, we must first create a safe environment. This means encouraging openness and making sure individuals feel valued and respected. In any group setting, be it an office, a family, or a community group, setting guidelines for respectful dialogue is crucial. For example, everyone should feel free to express their thoughts and emotions without interruption or ridicule. Adopting practices like group check-ins, where members can share their current state of mind, can help build trust and understanding. Listening actively and showing empathy reinforce the idea that everyone is in a supportive and caring space. Encouraging open dialogue. Open dialogue helps dismantle barriers. It's about encouraging conversations where everyone feels confident to voice their opinions and experiences. Leaders can set the tone by sharing their own stories of struggle and learning. When a manager speaks about a time they missed an important deadline but learned from the mistake, it sets a precedent for others to share their challenges without fear. It's essential that feedback is not just tolerated but welcomed. This feedback should come from a place of care, aimed at building rather than tearing down. Constructive criticism should always accompany sincere praise and encouragement. The role of leadership. Leaders play a pivotal role in nurturing vulnerability. They should model the behavior they wish to see by expressing their own imperfections and seeking input from others. Leaders who admit they don't have all the answers create a ripple effect, encouraging everyone to share and collaborate. Moreover, recognizing and celebrating lessons learned from failures or setbacks fosters a growth mindset. When leaders admit their own shortcomings and learnings publicly, it reassures team members that perfection is not the goal. Continuous growth is. Building a community of support. Creating a culture of vulnerability is not solely the responsibility of leaders. Every member of the community should contribute. It's about fostering a network of support where individuals feel empowered to offer help and seek assistance when needed. Regular team-building activities or community gatherings can build bonds, making it easier for people to express themselves. Moreover, having platforms where people can anonymously share thoughts and feelings can be a stepping stone for those who may not be immediately comfortable with openness. Over time, these platforms encourage more candid, face-to-face interactions. The benefits of embracing vulnerability. When a community or workplace embraces vulnerability, it becomes more innovative and adaptable. People feel a sense of belonging and are more likely to contribute creatively. They are not held back by fear of failure, but are driven by possibility and openness to learn. This culture enhances engagement, boosts morale, and often leads to exceptional outcomes. Final thoughts. Cultivating a culture of vulnerability is an ongoing journey that requires effort and commitment. It involves transforming environments into places where individuals feel secure to express themselves authentically. As practitioners of vulnerability, let's promise to create worlds where openness is the norm and collective growth is celebrated. By doing so, we unlock possibilities and strengthen the very fabric of our communities and organizations. Chapter 11. Practical Steps to Embrace Vulnerability. Embracing vulnerability can feel like stepping into the unknown, but it's in these very steps where true courage and connection are found. Let's explore practical strategies to make vulnerability an integral part of your daily life. Step 1. Start with self-reflection. Begin by spending a few moments each day reflecting on your emotions and experiences. Consider keeping a journal where you can write freely about your thoughts and feelings. Ask yourself questions like, what am I afraid to reveal? Or, what part of myself am I holding back? By acknowledging these thoughts, you create a foundation of self-awareness that opens the door to vulnerability. Step 2. Share small truths. If revealing everything at once feels overwhelming, start small. Share a little truth about yourself with someone you trust. This could be admitting a fear, expressing a worry, or acknowledging a desire. As you become more comfortable sharing these smaller truths, you'll gradually build the courage to express bigger truths. Step 3. Practice active listening. Vulnerability isn't just about what we share. It's also how we receive others. Practice active listening by giving someone your full attention without forming judgments or preparing responses while they're speaking. This openness creates a safe space that encourages others to be vulnerable with you, fostering deeper connections. Step 4. Reframe your perception of failure. Often, fear of failure holds us back from being vulnerable. Instead of viewing failure as a negative outcome, reframe it as a learning opportunity. Each misstep is a stepping stone toward growth and wisdom. Celebrate your efforts rather than fixating on the results, and use these experiences to strengthen your resilience. Step 5. Set boundaries. Being vulnerable doesn't mean exposing every part of yourself to everyone. Healthy vulnerability includes setting boundaries that protect your emotional well-being. Determine what you're comfortable sharing and with whom. These boundaries will allow you to connect deeply without feeling overwhelmed or exposed. Step 6. Seek discomfort challenge yourself by stepping outside your comfort zone in small ways. This might mean speaking up in a meeting, trying a new hobby, or initiating a difficult conversation. Each time you push past your comfort zone, you reinforce your ability to handle uncertainty with grace and courage. Step 7. Cultivate self-compassion. Be gentle with yourself in your journey towards vulnerability. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you'd offer a good friend. When you experience setbacks, remind yourself that imperfection is a part of being human. Embrace your flaws with an open heart as you work towards self-acceptance. Step 8. Find a vulnerability partner. A vulnerability partner is someone you trust to support and challenge you as you open up. This person can offer a listening ear, provide honest feedback, and hold you accountable for your growth. Having a partner in your journey can make the process feel less daunting and more fulfilling. Step 9. Engage in mindfulness practices. Incorporate mindfulness into your routine to help you stay present and attuned to your emotions. Practices like meditation, deep breathing, or yoga can ground you and make it easier to face moments of vulnerability with clarity and calm. Step 10. Celebrate your successes. Every act of vulnerability, no matter how small, is a victory. Recognize and celebrate these moments. Acknowledge your bravery and how it's contributing positively to your life. Celebrating small wins will keep you motivated and reinforce the importance of vulnerability in your journey. By integrating these steps into your everyday life, you create a foundation for authentic connections and personal growth. Embracing vulnerability is a continuous journey, but each step you take brings you closer to living a life rich with courage and connection. Remember, the path of vulnerability is one of strength and transformation. Keep mem. Chapter 12. The journey continues. As we conclude this exploration into vulnerability, it's important to recognize that our journey doesn't end here. Instead, it marks a new beginning. Embracing vulnerability is akin to planting a seed. Over time, with care, patience, and endurance, it grows, blossoms, and bears fruit. Life itself is a journey without a definitive destination, offering us continuous opportunities to cultivate deeper connections and enjoy more authentic living. Embrace the endless path. Imagine life as a path that stretches endlessly before you. Vulnerability isn't a single step, but rather the shoes that cushion every stride you take. Wearing these shoes allows you greater freedom to wander down roads you may have otherwise avoided, to explore territories that promise growth, understanding, and transformation. To continue on your journey, maintain curiosity about what lies ahead. Embrace each experience, each encounter as a lesson, allowing it to mold you into a stronger, more compassionate individual. Each interaction presents a chance to learn more about yourself, affirming your courage and openness. Growth through courageous acts. Courage is the fuel for your journey. By daring to engage openly and genuinely, you offer the world a piece of yourself that is uniquely yours. Engage with contentment when you succeed and embrace humility when you face setbacks. Remember, vulnerability ushers in possibilities previously shrouded in fear or doubt. Consider the story of a young artist who hesitated to show her paintings, fearing critique. The day she decided vulnerability outweighed fear was the day she invited unimaginable support and inspiration into her life. Each brushstroke became bolder, and her expression more liberated. Her openness not only transformed her art, but her connection to others. Continuous learning and adaptation. Look at life as a classroom where the lessons are never ending, offering wisdom waiting to be uncovered. Choose to approach life with the mindset of a lifelong learner and let each moment of vulnerability guide you into the next. Your willingness to be open and vulnerable enhances the stories of your life and enriches them with depth and authenticity. Adaptation is key. As you navigate different seasons of life, the ability to adjust by wielding vulnerability can enrich your experiences. Life's unexpected turns are met best when you allow flexibility and the courage to embrace change. Infinite possibilities for connection. Think of vulnerability as a bridge connecting you to others' hearts. Every time you engage with empathy and openness, you create possibilities for stronger bonds. By listening, understanding, and sharing without masks, relationships transform, creating a tapestry of genuine connections. Cherish these bonds, share your journey, invite others into it, and in turn, become a part of theirs. With every shared story, the vastness of human connection becomes an ally, making the road traveled less solitary and more wholesome. Celebrate every milestone. At every stage, celebrate your courage to live your truth. These moments, however small, reinforce your strength and freedom. Remember, it's not about reaching a finish line, but appreciating the transformation along the way. Allow each step to ignite a sense of accomplishment and wonder. Conclusion. As you conclude this book and step back into the world, continue to water the seeds of vulnerability. Let them thrive in every corner of your life, creating a garden vibrant with authenticity and profound connections. Trust in your journey, relish in its unpredictability, and know that through vulnerability, the essence of true living unfolds. The journey continues, full of possibilities, inviting you to take each step with open hearts and brave spirits. Let's walk this path together, discovering all that life has in store, hand in hand with the courage to be real, honest, and beautifully vulnerable.